Welcome back to On the Beat. The next part of our show is a segment on our DUI task force. Let's take a look at this dynamic team who are working hard to keep our roadways safe from drunk and buzzed drivers.
Hi, sir. I'm Officer Shaw from Baltimore County. You have your license and registration?
Yes, I do, sir.
Thank you. The reason I stopped you is you're doing 67 and a 45. Were you aware of that?
I did not realize I was going that fast.
All right. Where are you coming from tonight?
It's a friend's house.
A friend's house?
Yes, sir.
What'd you have to drink at your friend's house?
A beer or two.
A beer or two?
Yes, sir.
Just one or two? It smells like a little bit more out here.
Maybe 2 or 3.
The Baltimore County Police started the DUI task force to eradicate drunk drivers, impaired drivers from all of our roadways in Baltimore County. Commencing in 1987, it's currently comprised of 4 officers and 1 supervisor. Every officer is highly trained in DUI detection, and every officer participates in ongoing education annually to maintain their certifications and to sharpen their skills. We are deployed to areas within the county that have a high propensity of DUI-related crashes. Every night, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., we deploy in unmarked vehicles and traverse areas of Baltimore County to locate and target those individuals who have made a poor decision to drink and drive or drive impaired while under the influence of drugs. The Baltimore County Police DUI Task Force works in conjunction with our department's crash team. Our crash team members are certified and to advanced levels to investigate crashes in serious nature, dying, have already passed away, fatal crashes. We respond to help them in the event that the DUI-related crash has resulted in a fatal. We respond to the most unsightly motor vehicle collisions that anyone could imagine. The problem with DUI is that it has no boundaries, and anyone could be a victim, no matter what your age is. And that's the unfortunate aspect of DUI. It's one of the motivators that we have as DUI investigators is to go out and enforce these laws, because one of the worst things that we do as police officers, as investigating officers for DUI and crashes, is to meet these people at their homes in the early morning hours, knock on their door, and deliver news to their family and their loved ones that no matter how much practice you've had, it's never good enough and it can never be changed. DUI is driving under the influence. The limit in Maryland is .08. The reason why that is a difference between DWI, driving while impaired, is primarily the criminal penalties and the fines, and also the points that can be assessed on your driving record. A DUI will yield a 1-year jail sentence and or $1,000 fine. 12 points could be assessed to your driving record upon conviction. DWI can still be considered a crime if your blood alcohol content yields a result of .06 or .07. However, driving while impaired is the lesser of the two, and you could still be charged a $500 fine, and 8 points from the Motor Vehicle Administration could be assessed to your driving record. If you are convicted of vehicular manslaughter as a result of DUI negligence, that's a felony. You would be looking at about 10 years in prison. A driver who is under the age of 21 and charged with a DUI is still subject to the same offense. However, their level of intoxication is considerably lower, and as long as their breath test result or blood alcohol content is above a .02, they can subject themselves to a DUI charge and a violation of their license restriction just based off of their age alone. And the way that the law is designed is that if you are in control of a vehicle, whether or not the keys are in the ignition or laying next to you on the seat, if you are in physical control of a motor vehicle, you could still be charged with a DUI, engine running or not. Even though you may be approached by a policeman in a parking lot and you're just trying to sleep it off, if we leave, you could still potentially put those keys in the ignition and drive off just as quickly as we do, and still be impaired, and hopefully, if that's the case, you'll get caught. There are a multitude of different drugs that can impair a person's ability to drive a car safely. Marijuana, we have some dispensaries popping up in our county, and the misconception is that decriminalization of this particular drug is legalization. And beer, wine, and liquor is legal, but you still can't drive impaired under the influence of those particular drinks. Same as marijuana. Marijuana forging a path for legalization and prescribed drug use does not alleviate somebody's obligation to be responsible and pay attention to the restrictions on those drugs. But I need people to understand that if you are driving under the influence of marijuana, you will catch a charge for DUI, just the same as if you are under the influence of alcohol, if impairment is detected. At the end of the day, if you're impaired, you're responsible for your actions at that particular time. Just because it is prescribed by a medical doctor does not alleviate you of being responsible as an adult to consume that particular drug and go out on the streets and again, potentially subject yourself to a DUI or worst case scenario, an injury to another person. But it's your obligation and duty as a driver in this state and in this country to be responsible. We're not here to advocate the fact that no one should be drinking at all as they go out and they need to get home. However, it's important to note there's a lot of different factors that come into play. Everyone is different, and everyone needs to understand that they're responsible for their own actions, and they just need to understand also that if they're going overboard, maybe they're going to be under arrest. The thing is, with impaired driving, people's time, distance, and perception are completely distorted, and they just drive too fast. And it makes it easy for us to target those individuals, especially with the vehicles that we have equipped with extremely advanced radar mechanisms on our dashboard, front and rear antennas that are capable of multi-lane identification for speeding vehicles. If you're stopped for a suspected DUI, you can expect to be asked for your identification, vehicle registration, and proof of an insurance for that vehicle that you're operating. A subsequent interview will take place, and if need be, standardized field sobriety tests will be offered to you. And if those field sobriety tests glean information for the officer and probable cause to arrest that individual, that person will be taken to one of our 10 precincts and processed accordingly. No matter what your charge is, you will be processed just like anyone else, whether it's for theft or homicide. You will be fingerprinted, you will be photographed, and you'll be taken before a judicial officer within 24 hours of your arrest. Something to consider would be legal representation. For DUIs, the standard these days, and it goes from different ends of the spectrum, but it goes upwards of $10,000 for private attorneys these days for DUI representation. Really, there is no excuse for drinking and driving. There are a multitude of different options that you can take to alleviate yourself from subjecting everyone on our roadways to potential life-threatening injuries or death. There are phone applications that are within close proximity of every bar. There are so many resources out there today and people willing to help you get to your next destination. Worst case scenario, you walk yourself home, use a provided sidewalk. Everybody's just as happy as they were when they started their night. If you're out on the roadways in Baltimore County and you see someone driving under the influence and you suspect that they are impaired by either a drug or alcohol, please call 911. With high regard to your own safety, we don't want you to take any kind of enforcement action. We are grateful for the extra set of eyes out there, but we need you to just be a witness. Do not do anything that would jeopardize your own safety. Try and obtain and glean as much information as possible to help our officers respond to that specific location and locate that person as quickly as possible so we can investigate it. There is no cookie cutter behavior that a particular impaired person will exhibit. Obviously, anybody would be able to spot a speeding car above normal traffic flow. One that would stick out in my head is if you have an individual driving under the speed limit, 10 to 15, 20 miles an hour under the posted speed limit. If you're on the highway, 695, Pulaski Highway, where the speeds are 55 miles an hour posted, and you have someone in front of you who's going 30 miles per hour, and they just look like they're just not all there, certainly call 911 and do your best to not be part of a possible collision by maintaining that same speed and again, be a good witness. The sky's the limit. Impaired drivers, no matter how short or long the duration of their drive is, anything could happen, and hopefully we catch them before that does. We want people to understand that impaired driving is an absolute gamble and that temporary buzzed driving isn't worth a lifetime of shameful behavior. As the DUI task force continues to traverse 600 square miles of this great county, we know DUI is preventable and that it has no boundaries. Anyone can be a potential victim, and everyone as someone waiting for them to come home. Don't force us to tell them that you're not going to make it.
This brings us to the end of our show, On the Beat, brought to you by the men and women of the Baltimore County Police Department and Chief Terrence B. Sheridan. I'm Corporal Sean Benson. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you'll be with us next time. Be safe out there.